Nerd Academy podcast is released weekly at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, available on our website at www.thenerdacademypodcast.com and wherever you listen to podcasts. You can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. You can also help support the show by going to patreon.com/The Nerd Academy podcast, where every donation allows us to bring you more exciting content every week.
Good morning, class, and welcome back to the Nerd Academy podcast, your source for nerddom news and commentary. I am your host and superior, vengeful headmaster, Jared Bachman Stubbs. Up top, the Batman is upon us. I'm seeing it Thursday. I don't know when Travis, who is also here, is seeing it. We never got that Batman theme Mountain Dew we were rumored to get.
That's true. That is true.
That's sad. That just occurred to me.
Might have been lost.
God damn it, WB.
Ether.
I don't know. I don't know if I'd trade the calzone for the Mountain Dew though.
That's true.
Kind of torn. All that said, next week, tentatively, we're gonna try to do a live stream review for the Batman. Like I said, I'm not going to make any promises just yet, but fingers crossed we're able to make it happen. Also Versus Series tournament. Hi, I'm so sorry. It's the 1st of March and we haven't done it yet. January was crazy because Book of Boba Fett and Spencer started doing some online classes. So that has kept us kind of tethered up there. I apologize. I know he's been antsy about it. We are both not thrilled that we haven't gotten a chance to do it yet, but it will happen. It will come, and we apologize in advance. If there's the Book of Boba Fett and him doing school stuff, and now the Batman coming around has been a little bit problematic to do, but we're gonna make it happen soon. I promise you that. That said, Travis, how are you, buddy?
I think Walmart is laundering money through hot dog buns.
Okay, so you at my recommendation, you started listening to the last podcast on the left again for the MK Ultra stuff. And now, so explain your conspiracy theory, because you sound like Zabrowski and how he was like relapsing into conspiracy thought.
Yes. We have to keep ample track of because Walmart takes inventory of each store once a year. Like proper inventory. Until then, the computer just kind of tries to be as close as it can. Only now they really care about us fixing it when we notice things are wrong, even though we don't have time to do that. But specifically, things that no one really looks at is the bread aisle and things that are vendor. So, for example, we don't stock any Pepsi products. Pepsi sends people in to stock that stuff.
Yeah.
Most of the bread that you buy at Walmart, if it doesn't come from the bakery, comes from a vendor.
Yeah.
All of the counts on the bread, it's still in our system. We can have negative counts of things at times, and most of them have counts of negative 10 to 30,000.
Oh,
our favorite was the great value hot dog buns, the 88-cent pack of hot dog buns. Somehow in the system it says we are missing 185,000 of them. That's $150,000 of product that is not in the store according to the system, but that might just be $150,000 that got budgeted somewhere that is now missing. So who knows? Corporate.
I'm sick of being called a grifter.
Corporate grifting those hot dog buns, money laundering with them. I've been waiting for so long to use that drop because I've had it locked and loaded for a month and a half now. Thank you, Knowledge Fight. Before we jump into the week's news, do the quick usual hello from our lovely, lovely, lovely friends at sundaysbloodymary.com. You guys know the drill by now. Sunday's Bloody Mary has the best Bloody Mary accoutrement on the planet. I have my next jar of the spicy mix on its way. There's a mild mix if the spicy Caesar isn't for you. They got vegan mix. They got rim salt. They got the pickled garnishes with the okra, dilly beans, and asparagus. I love me some asparagus. And they have a subscription box, so you can get 2 jars a month at a reduced rate. This is my favorite stuff. It's my favorite stuff to drink. I find myself legitimately disappointed when I get to the bottom of a jar. So do yourselves a favor, hop on over to sundaysbloodymary.com/shop. That's in our description. I feel like I should be mentioning that it's in our description more. It just kind of occurred to me because it's been there this entire time. So click the link in our description and go punch in TNAP at checkout and get you 10% off your order and help out your fellow nerds. Also, not a sponsor, obviously, but the Amidala Initiative is a charity fundraiser that we and 76 other Star Wars creators, this is more of a Star Wars thing, as the name probably gave away, to benefit foundations meant to help queer and trans youth. It is basically trying to raise money to push back against some of the laws being passed in Florida and Texas. So go on over to the Amidala Initiative. That will also be linked in the description. So you can go over and donate and help support that cause. We have never, Travis, myself, or anybody else who's a part of this podcast has never shied away from the fact that queer visibility and maintaining the rights of our queer and trans homies is very important. And the draconian and, to not try to sound fancy, vile and fucked up laws being passed in Florida and in Texas cannot and should not stand. And this money will go to helping protect and advocate for the queer and trans kids affected by these laws. So, all that said, like I said, all of that's in the description. Click on stuff, donate. It'd be greatly appreciated. Also, a lot of the other content creators, if you go to the Amidala Initiative, it's Amidala Helps is the @ on Twitter. It has a list of a bunch of the other creators. People are already getting to work on some really cool stuff that will be raising money, be it live streams, content. Ren of Stitchcraft, they have a really cool shirt out. We're like on the end. Behind the scenes, if I'm not wearing a button down, I love this stuff that has like a little thing on the breast and then something big on the back. It has a little heart with a kyber crystal on it, and then on the back, it has like 2 hands on like holding it, and then the text says the Chur and Imwe's quote from Rogue One: "The brightest stars have burned with hearts of kyber." Quote, or however he says it. I think I misquoted it, but either way, that shirt, all the proceeds are going to go to the Amidala Initiative. So yeah, go check that out. I can't say any more because we may or may not have something in the oven for that. With some of the other people who are on the list of creators. So go check that out. Go help do some really important work. Now, to news. One thing that we're going to acknowledge, but I didn't watch because we're basically at the point where I check out of marketing for Morbius. Morbius has a new trailer.
Trailer.
Yeah, we're not going to watch the Morbius trailer, though.
It's definitely because of the marketing thing and not just because I don't want to.
I'm checking out for the marketing, and I figured that was a great excuse to not make Travis watch the Morbius trailer.
I definitely saw it pop up in my YouTube, like my recommended feed, right?
Yeah.
And out loud went, "Oh shit, that's still happening." Right? What's the new date on more? What's my new torture date.
It's April Fool's Day.
Ah, the cruelest joke of all. Yeah, my joke magic set got moved off April Fool's Day, and that got put to April Fool's Day. Of course it did.
I really want to see Morbius with you. I really want to go opening night. And really, really, really torture and hurt ourselves mentally with that.
Just
but
like
something
how I
that
constantly forget New Mutants happened.
I have no idea how you forget New Mutants. Did you watch the Cosmonaut Variety Hour, like X-Men 2 or 3 parter?
No.
Oh my god, Marcus!
And I wouldn't
saying?
have even thought New Mutants was in that video, to be honest. I would have, like, he would have gone to New Mutants. I would have been like, why is he talking about this?
Well, so the way he did it was he did like the OG X-Men movies. Like, no. He did. Let me sure I have this right. He did the X-Men movies, like X-Men. Oh, I'm trying to remember. He either did it as like the original lineup of X-Men, the like soft reboot prequel stuff, and then like the spinoffs. Like you're the Wolverines, Logan, Deadpool 1 and 2, and he was like, all right, guys, I'm done. And then he was like, oh, and then like the New Mutants art, like key art poster was slowly creeping into the frame. But again, in the realm of something Travis and I are both excited for, but Travis especially because he's more of a Nintendo guy than I am. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. This is from the Pokemon website. The Pokemon Scarlet and Violet games, the newest chapters of the Pokemon series, are coming to Nintendo Switch later this year. With these new titles, the Pokemon series takes a new evolutionary step, allowing you to explore freely in a richly expressed open world. So these screenshots look pretty beautiful. I'm excited for this game. Various towns blend seamlessly into the wilderness with no borders. You'll be able to see the Pokemon of this region in the skies, in the seas, in the forests, on the streets, all over. You'll be able to experience the true joy of the Pokemon series, battling against wild Pokemon in order to catch them now in an open world that players of any age can enjoy. Meet the first partner Pokemon. The 3 Pokemon from which you'll be able to choose from your first partners are Spirigato, Fuecoco, and Quaxley.
Sorry, what was that first one?
I don't know. I definitely butchered this. How do you say it, Travis?
Sprigatito.
Sprigatito.
Yeah.
What the hell did I say?
Spirigato.
Say it again.
Sprigatito.
I can never say Pokemon names. So yeah. Also, as you can tell, the usual 3 starter types. Sprigatito, is that it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool. Okay. We got a grass type, Fuecoco, fire type, and Quaxley is a water type. Travis, I think you and I are both team Fuecoco.
Yes.
Okay, good. I do like Quaxley. Quaxley is a very close second. There's something very funny about him that I love. Sprigatito is cute, but man, Fuecoco. I sent a meme into one of our group chats that said something to the effect of Fuecoco looks like the kind of person who would say that their favorite color is the letter 4. And I love him for that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, very exciting stuff in the realm of the Pokemans. You got Scarlet and Violet, the actual playable characters.
You look like a nerd.
Yeah. Oh, ooh, my boy's in the background here.
Yeah, he was in the trailer.
I see. Oh, I didn't see the trailer. I didn't know there was a trailer. I just thought there was like a press release.
Yeah, they so 27th was Pokemon Day. It's the day Red and Blue came out, or Red and Green came out in Japan. Now 26 years ago. So they announced
Just
That was
slightly older than you.
Yep. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, when Pokemon was like, yeah, we turned 25 this year, and I went, mm-hmm. Sure do, bud. So that was like the big end announcement, because no one expected a Gen 9 announcement this early. Right? We just got Legends Arceus a month ago, really. They announced an update for Legends Arceus. There's a new like little add-on story at the end. Probably just to, like, in case you were having trouble filling your Pokedex, to help finish that out.
Okay.
And then another update for Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl to add a legendary Pokemon event that was locked in the base game and also locked in this game, but people found a way to glitch their way to the island where it happens. It's now in the game, and you can get it through a mystery gift. They announced some stuff for Pokemon. They're doing Alola Pokemon on Pokemon Go. So I don't play Pokemon Unite, but they announced some stuff for Pokemon Unite. And yeah, the new game looks cool. It looks like the region's going to be based on Spain, like the Spain-Portugal peninsula.
Excellent. That's cool. That's new. I like that.
So, gonna be neat.
I'm very excited. Which one are you going with? Violet or Scarlet, or have you not made up your mind yet?
I have no idea. It's weird that we don't have. I mean, it's not weird. I'm glad we don't. Like when we see what the legendaries will look like.
Yeah,
the box legendaries, unless they do something crazy and they don't do box legendaries, which I'm all for. Because I'll be honest, when I saw the names, before I saw the trailer, because I woke up after the press release was done. I thought they were going to be a proper Red and Blue sequel, like a game set in Kanto that was a sequel to the Kanto story, which is not the case. And it's probably a good thing that's not the case. But, yeah, it's weird not knowing what the big difference is going to be, if there will be a big difference, right? Like Sword and Shield, the Pokemon weren't all that different as compared to like Sun and Moon. So
yeah,
we will see once that gets revealed later this year, right?
Yeah, cool.
It's still weird that it's late 2022 and not late like next year.
Yeah,
because I would have thought it was next year, but I mean, if it's,
I'm certainly excited. You and Lexi finally Pokepilled me, so I never got a chance to play Diamond and Pearl. I'll get around to it, but I'm definitely gonna get on for this one when the time comes. So, yeah. Also, our surprise guest should be able to join us. So, whenever that individual lets me know they are ready, we will jump to that story. We have a new poster from Moon Knight, which starts at the end of the month. Travis is looking hot in this picture. Goddamn.
that is quite the wool suit he's wearing.
It is quite the wool tweed suit. Yeah, I mean, getting an up close and personal look at the Mr. Knight suit is awesome. This is part of the threshold of holy shit, they're actually doing it, that just never ceases to amaze me. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Oh, cool, they're gonna do Moon Knight. Well, they're probably just gonna have him be, brutal vigilante Mark Spector, aka Moon Knight. It's like, no, we're going all in with like the multiple personalities and like the alter egos have alter egos. So, yeah, we got another like little mini TV spot. I didn't watch it in its entirety because, again, kind of in that point where I don't want to know that much at this point going in. So yeah, be excited for that and our reviews of it. Another story, one that I think is actually quite funny. Andrew Garfield says he has no plans to play Spider-Man again. This is from Sasha Urban, courtesy of Variety. Andrew Garfield isn't donning the iconic Spider-Man suit again anytime soon. At least that's what the Spider-Man No Way Home actor told senior culture and events editor Mark Malkin it's on Sunday at the 28th Annual Screen Actors Guild Awards. No plans. That's the truth, Garfield said to Variety on the carpet presented by DirecTV. Everyone's going to call me a liar for the rest of my life. I'm the boy who cried wolf. So everybody who is pulling for TASM 2, I hate to break it to you, but it looks
you
like
mean TASM 3?
I realized I said that as it came out of my mouth. That's funny. Yes, anybody who's pulling for TASM 3 or for Tom Hardy's Venom to be going up against his version of Peter, don't get your hopes up just yet. I just realized there's a very important story I haven't added to the notes yet that I'm going to do right now or at least Google while we speak.
He has no plans, which means they haven't given him the contract to sign yet. That's all I'm saying.
So do you think he's still full of shit? Do you think he's like he's out loud bargaining the way Tom Holland has been? He's like, no, I don't know if I'm going to play Spider-Man anymore.
I think for him it's like a genuine, nothing's been given to me yet, so I technically don't have plans for it. But like, it's too soon after the reception they got from No Way Home for anything to really be on the table, you know? So
Valid. Pardon me. Our next story, another big one that broke today. Also, sorry the episode's late. I had a very bad headache waking up on Monday. And then this morning, as I was getting ready to set up, my computer was like, I have to update. And normally that only takes 15 minutes or 5 minutes at most. But then it was like, oh, this is going to cut into time. And I record right before I go to work, same as Travis. So every second is kind of crucial. So Disney Plus retools parental controls with the addition of Netflix Marvel programs. Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, The Defenders, Punisher, and Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. will be available in the United States on Disney Plus on March 16th. Daredevil and its fellows, this is Hollywood Reporter Ryan Parker. Daredevil and its fellow Netflix shows have a new home, Disney Plus. And with those additions, the streamer is retooling parental controls due to Marvel's series' darker themes and graphic violence, especially Punisher. Disney announced on Tuesday that Daredevil, the Charlie Cox-led Marvel series, in addition to Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Punisher, Iron Fist, The Defenders, and ABC's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., will land on the streamer after leaving their original Netflix home on March 1st. All the shows will be available to stream March 16th on Disney Plus. With the addition of the series, Disney Plus users will be prompted to update their parental controls. The Netflix Marvel series will be the most mature content on the streamer in the United States thus far. On Netflix, Daredevil and Punisher had TVMA ratings, meaning they were not suitable for viewers under the age of 17. The parental controls are already in effect in Europe and include the options to add content restrictions for each profile, as well as add a pin to lock profiles. Last month, Disney began adding adult skewing fare, but nothing as violent as Punisher. Disney licensed its Marvel shows to Netflix as part of a 2013 pact, with the first two series, Daredevil and Jessica Jones, launching in 2015. By early 2019, the streaming service had canceled all of those shows as Disney prepared to launch its competitor, Disney Plus. The shows left Netflix Tuesday after Disney opted to forego a hefty licensing fee from Netflix in order to regain the rights. Disney CFO Christine McCarthy said in an earnings call in early February that the company expects to lose out on $200 million in licensing income as it regains the rights to those various series. Daredevil in particular has experienced a resurgence of interest following star Charlie Cox's cameo in Spider-Man No Way Home, and Vincent D'Onofrio, who played the Kingpin, appearing on Disney Plus Hawkeye. In an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, Cox teased that he knew a bit about what was in store for his character down the road in the Marvel Cinematic Universe after Matt Murdock returned for No Way Home. Moving the Netflix programs signals a large move for Disney Plus as a platform, given the series' mature content, which was not available through the streamer, at least in the United States. So, yeah. I'm very excited by this. I think this is some of the best news we've gotten in a minute. What are you thinking, Travis?
Yeah, I mean, it opens us up to having like R-rated not that we need R-rated content on Disney Plus, but like when inevitably we get Deadpool 3, we don't have to see a censored version on Disney Plus. It's easier to tie these shows to the MCU in some way now.
I concur.
Like they obviously won't be, they'll be listed under the Marvel tab, but they'll be listed as like some kind of alternate universe stuff maybe, or they'll find some way to like either actually tie them in for realsies this time, or just as like here's an offshoot. I kind of hope they screw up though and leave like the little Netflix like the dun thing on the beginning, like the Netflix tag. I think that'd be hilarious. It would only last for like an hour, maybe, but it would be so funny.
I agree on the Katong from Netflix. I'm trying to. So here's what I am really excited by with this revelation. I think that, I for the longest time have held my breath to a considerable degree on just how much I am confident that we will actually see more of the Netflix and pre-established, not MCU, but pretty much MCU related content. I was for the longest time very much on the side of I don't necessarily think we'll be seeing Charlie Cox, Matt Murdock in Far From Home or No Way Home. I'm never going to get it right. It required Vincent D'Onofrio basically telling on himself for me to even put any stock in the idea that Kingpin was going to be in Hawkeye. I just had a whole lot of speculation that I was averse to. This move, well, the floodgates being opened by Kingpin and Daredevil showing up in Hawkeye and Spider-Man, respectively. Plus, the move here, I think these speculations about Jessica Jones being in She-Hulk skyrocket. Like, I would bet on it at this point that both Matt and Jess are in it. I had heard rumblings before that a lot of those Netflix people, like post No Way Home, which, maybe I would have changed my tune before No Way Home had come out if I had known then what I knew now. But, I've been hearing rumblings that some of the Marvel people are, considering returns. I hope everybody gets a chance here. Even Finn Jones. Justice for Finn Jones. I don't mind his Iron Fist and would like to see him get a second chance as Danny Rand. So I think that this is great news. I've been wanting to do a full rewatch and catch up on the stuff that I missed from Jess Jones, Iron Fist, and Luke Cage, and I've never even seen Punisher like at all.
I haven't either.
So I'm excited that it's all there now. I'm really excited to jump back into these shows. 2020, one of the first things I did during quarantine, the longest 2 weeks of our lives, was finish Daredevil. Daredevil's my second favorite Marvel hero, and I was always like, oh, okay, I got to watch all the Netflix shows first that came out, and then I can watch Daredevil. and I wasn't gonna let myself do it. I was like, fuck it, the world's ending. I'm watching Daredevil now. And I was blown away. And I was like, damn, I really wish we got more of this. And I hope that them putting this Netflix stuff on Disney Plus means that we are getting all of these characters picked back up from where they left off.
Mm-hmm.
That might be a big ask, and there might be some continuity things that make that problematic. But I would be very happy if we just picked up where we left off with Mike Coulter as Power Man, Finn Jones as Luke Cage, Charlie, Kristen Bernthal, etc., 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 etc. And yeah, like, tell me what Daredevil was doing during the blip. You know, who of the defenders got blipped? How did the blip affect the Hand? You know, like, this is all really cool stuff that would be, I think, really important and for the MCU moving forward. You know, I've seen on TikTok multiple times this, like, you know, I don't really call it a theory because there's no like theorizing going on, but just kind of like a, you know, the positing like how Matt experienced the blip. Like say Daredevil doesn't get snapped away, the way that he would hear the deafening silence of half of the heartbeats in Hell's Kitchen vanishing. Like, I would love to see that. I would love to watch Charlie Cox act his damn ass off in a scene like that. You know, I just, you know, you could do like an actual Heroes for Hire show with Luke Cage and Iron Fist. Like, the options are limitless. I am so excited by this news. So yeah, I know this is a great sign as far as I'm concerned. So a couple things before we hop into our last topic while I buy our special guest some time. I saw this while I was getting ready. Kraven the Hunter cast West Side Story's Ariana DeBose as Calypso, which is neat.
Movie's not real.
Don't think the movie's real?
No. I still don't think Morbius is real, to be fair, so we're going to get in there and it's just going to be New Mutants.
All right, so okay, spoiler alert. The original guest was supposed to be $10 patron and host of Multi-Fandom Podcast, Nick Johnson. Nick is a half an hour out, and I don't think this last story is going to take that long. So that's not going to work out, but I am planning on having Nick on for our The Batman review. Nick just got out of the movie. I got to go mute the spoiler post.
Yeah, how they got in to see it so soon.
There was like a fan event. There was one that was on the AMC app that like I could have gotten tickets for. It was like a couple days early, but you know, nothing crazy, nothing press related. Unfortunately, that would be really cool. So jumping in, the Batman is getting rave reviews.
Who would have thunk?
I mean, really good reviews though. Like, there's like, oh, the movie isn't bad. I could have told you that. And then there's like, this movie is getting lauded with praise left and right. The only bad reviews I have seen are, quite frankly, reviews written by shitheads. And I'm not even talking about like Twilight bad, Sparkle Boy type bullshit. A lot of it's just like, this movie was dreary and depressing, and I didn't like that.
Yeah, that's so. Yeah, how you feel, bud? This movie about an orphan dealing with his trauma in a very poor way. made you depressed?
Ow! Oh, that was
Like,
good.
valid take. But did you expect any different?
Clearly, somebody did. Now, one that I did see that I could understand was this movie is very much not kid friendly. Which, you know what, valid criticism, because kids love Batman. You know, I had a conversation with my little sister the other day where she was like, "There's a new Batman movie coming out soon." I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "You gonna go see it?" I'm like, "Of course I am." And then she was like, "Well, can I see it?" And I was like, "I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think you should see this movie." I was like, "I haven't seen it yet." But the fact that they're saying it's based off of Seven and Zodiac, I don't think this is for you, kiddo. I don't think this is for you. And she handled it like a champ. You know, she was way cooler about it than I would have been at that age. But but I think there's a valid criticism. Like, if your superhero, whom is a kid friendly superhero most of the time? You know, I think Batman is a really fascinating example that you can have like really kid friendly Batman, and you can also have anyone that was gross. Anyone under the age of like 13 really shouldn't be messing around with this story. Batman. I don't think there's many superheroes who have as many stories that cross both sides of the spectrum as much as Batman. Like, yeah, there were some dark Spider-Man stories and some dark Superman stories. And Captain America and Iron Man all have some really dark fare in there. But for the most part, you can safely look at an Iron Man or a Spider-Man or a Captain America, et cetera, Superman, whatever story and go, yeah, this is for kids. Like, it's for everybody. It's for everybody, and therefore also for kids.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can't say that like a 6 to 10-year-old is like ready for the Dark Knight. You know, in either terms of like
I was 12, and not that it like traumatized me, but I certainly did not understand a lot of what was happening in the Dark Knight.
Exactly. I think it's two pronged in that way, where either you like as a kid you're not gonna understand, you know, money laundering through hot dog buns or other means, but and also Joker's kind of scary and Harvey Dent looks really grotesque and, you know, maybe too much. And again, I haven't seen the Batman yet, but like inspired by Zodiac and Seven, you know, is kind of a lot. Batman turns a guy's face into paste in the very first trailer. This movie doesn't seem like it's gonna be for the little ones, so I get that criticism, like especially because like we're selling action figures and toys, you know, so like we're gonna get those silly ass action figures that are so clearly marketed to like a 10-year-old like my sister, when this movie isn't for fucking 10-year-olds. Like, you know, this isn't Avengers, which like can get a little brutal, but like it's aliens and monsters and everyone's green or some bullshit, whatever. So, all of that said, the only truly negative reviews I have read are either Batman story dreary, which again, there's a conversation to be had there, but like you saw the trailers, you knew what you were getting into. And then the more valid criticism, in my opinion, that maybe superhero movies for heroes who are generally marketed to kids should be inappropriate. Like, I don't mean to keep harping on this because I am really excited for the movie, but like I walked into my sister's room one day and she was watching Nickelodeon and like there was a commercial for like a kid's toy of this Batmobile.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I think that's a really difficult tightrope to walk. to like market these toys at the kids, and also this is darker and grittier. I am vengeance, Zodiac Killer, Riddler. Beat the guy to death. You know, it's a fair criticism.
Yeah, I mean, so it's PG-13, right?
No, it is, and also I wouldn't say that it's a fair critique of the direction Batman has been going in since 2005.
Yeah,
I don't think you can give this movie a bad review via that criticism. I think you can criticize Warner Brothers. I think you can criticize DC Comics. I think you can criticize like the cultural perception of Batman for that. I don't think you can give the Batman a rotten review on that premise, I should say.
I think the thing about Batman, right? Like, because even before, 2005 did its number on him, Batman Begins happened and everyone decided that had to be the new Batman. But
I mean, I said 2005. I'd even go so far as to say Dark Knight. Like,
I'd say Batman Begins.
Even Begins, though, feels like really, like there is that, not a lot of it, but there is some comic book whimsy in Begins. I don't think there's any comic book whimsy in Night.
I'd still say like I'm Batman, right? Like it's the first time we got a voice actor, an actor actively changing their voice in the suit, right? Like shush your car. I think even before that though, like Batman the Animated Series has a lot of mature themes to it.
Oh yeah.
Right. And it does a much better job at balancing its tones with its content and the audience it's for. I think Batman takes a more mature approach a lot of the time because Batman's one of the few heroes that is just a guy. I say just a guy, like true. He isn't the perfect embodiment of human, like, he's in perfect shape and he doesn't need sleep and he has every bachelor's degree. So he's not really just a guy, but like when you're watching a Batman story most of the time, because they don't have a lot of time to tell it on the screen, it's Orphan is sad and has a lot of money to take out his aggression. Right. So I think I'm excited to see a Batman movie that takes the approach of being a quote unquote real movie first, but actually being about Batman.
Yeah.
Right. Like I'm excited to see a comic book action scene that I'd only have seen in a comic book or in an animated movie, in a live action movie for the first time, and not just have it be a single set piece. Right.
A la a warehouse fight, or yeah,
because I like that warehouse fight. I don't like the grenades or the gun or the dead people. Not a fan.
They're fine. They're fine.
They're just lifeless and in a coma forever. It's fine.
I'll defend the grenade. That's not Bruce's fault. He just slapped a grenade away from himself. That guy jumped on it. Like that was not Batman's fault. Bruce kills several fucking people in that fight, and I will not fight you on that. The grenade guy is not one of them.
I will always blame that Batman for any death that's in his general. Like some guy got in a car wreck 3 blocks down from the fight. That was still Bruce's fault, as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, I'm, as much as, dark, depressing, dreary Batman has been done, I'm excited to see it. We've talked about this since the Batman first got a trailer. Like this is going to be the peak of that, and then we can retire it, hopefully.
Exactly. I said it 1,000 times during Fandom and in the run up to this. I want this to be the last word on this version of Batman.
Yeah.
Like, and I want this to be the last movie. From what I've been hearing, they absolutely tee up a sequel at the end of this.
I probably wouldn't be upset. Because here's the thing, they're also not afraid of long movies anymore, right? So it's not going to feel...
As the runtime of this movie can confirm.
Yeah, like, I'm okay with getting another 3 to 4 hour Batman movie. Because my other issue with other Batman movies is they always feel too short. You know, Dark Knight Rises is 2 hours and 45 minutes. It can add an extra 30 minutes to flesh out the story more. So much happens in that movie.
I agree.
And I think it's the problem with comic book movies as a medium in general, right? The MCU's kind of figured it out, but no one else has. That, like, you don't have a lot of time to adapt things from the comics. So you have to take ideas and then adapt it into a screenplay.
Yeah.
Right? We have resident weebs. One of sometimes big problems with adapting manga into anime is the same thing. Like, you have a way to explain a thing in a manga, or a way to present something in a manga, but now things are moving, and it doesn't make sense that, like, someone's saying this thing. Like, the reason they call attack names in anime is because they have to call attack names in the manga, or else you don't know what they're doing. Right? Goku pulling his hands back means nothing until he says the first ka. In the same way
that's interesting. Like,
in the same way that, like, a picture of a comic book character going like this might not mean anything until you see the POW, right?
Okay.
But you don't need that. And so, like, there are, or, you know, the characters thinking. How do you adapt those kind of big scenes, those long solo sequences in comics, into a live action show? You know, Spider-Man Homecoming did it in a very cool way with the AI in the suit.
Yeah.
You know, like because Spider-Man talks to himself a lot. So what do? We give him someone to talk to that isn't actually there.
Yeah. The video essayist Big Joel did a video this week where he excoriated the movie adaptation of the book The Giver, and brought up how, you know, a lot of the times, like, adaptations of novels will just include narration, you know, that will just have the main character narrating it, because sometimes you will hit a brick wall where there is no way to adapt a certain moment, or, like, try to bring home to the audience, this is what this character is thinking or feeling. Sometimes you, like in the book, just kind of have to have them say it directly to the audience. So yeah, there's a lot of hurdles there, and I do think Batman is particularly difficult. I think that Batman as a character has never truly been adapted in his entirety. Comic book TikToker Jay Stoobs had a great video during the No Way Home hype, talking about how she said, I think the reason everybody debates their favorite Spider-Man so much is because Spider-Man has not been perfectly adapted yet, and that every adaptation of Spider-Man gets something incredibly right and something remarkably wrong.
Yeah.
And I think Batman is... What were you saying, bud?
I was going to say what you're about to say. Batman's the same, right?
Batman's exactly the same. You know, if Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man gets the isolation of Spider-Man wrong, or gets that element of his character right, it gets Peter's confidence and relationship with the rest of the world completely wrong. If Ben Affleck's Batman is the epitome of the brutality and darkness and, you know, skirting the line the Dark Knight Returns Batman is, he's also a cold-blooded killer who acts nothing like Batman in certain scenes. You know, it's the same give and take. You know, I will trade you a Batman who fights real good, but your Batman isn't going to do any detective work.
Mm-hmm.
Or here's a bunch of gadgets and the gadgets are cool, but the costume looks like shit. Or, and everybody, rolls a nat 1 on is your Batman a fucking killer or not, so like Batman, like we have like that's why like every time like you get this new element of Batman brought to the screen perfectly, like I think we got the tortured hero, like we got a really good middle of his career Batman and Christian Bale. Like even though Batman Begins is literally Batman's first adventure in the cape and cowl, Bale has a confidence and aura and like understanding of his mission that a Bruce Wayne has been doing this for like a decade should have. And that's not a critique of the movie, and it's not a critique of his Batman necessarily, but like when I think seasoned Bruce Wayne, like he's worked past he's worked past without having to go through it, like that the feverish rage that it looks like Pattinson is dealing with, So, and again, like I've said before, Batman's career is kind of bookended by he's starting out and he wants to be this vengeful spirit haunting Gotham. And his career ends, if you go with Dark Knight Returns, is him falling back on his worst traits. And it's kind of bookended by psychotically rageful, brutal Batman. And then somewhere in the middle, Bruce calms the fuck down for the most of his career, right? I want to see, like I've said 1,000 times, Pattinson grow up. And like Chris Stuckman, and we're going to talk about the reviews here soon. Chris Stuckman even said, in many ways, this is a coming of age story for Bruce. And I think that's interesting. And like that gives me so much hope that we are going to see the Batman I have been begging for, that you have been wanting to see, the process of vengeful spirit haunting Gotham to watchful protector defending it. I think there's a big difference. And I truly, truly think we might finally get there with this movie. That said, we've retread some background there. Jumping in. The Batman. So there's a couple prompts here. I'm gonna try to find another article with some more reviews.
While you read, I'm gonna go pee, but I can hear you.
Okay, so it's sectioned off. It's one of the Rotten Tomatoes articles. Currently the Batman. Let me pull up, see what the tomato meter's at currently. Oh my god, I keep hitting the equal sign instead of the backspace. Drum roll. Oh, not that Batman movie. It took me to Batman 89. I want the Batman. Here we go. So it's dipped a little bit since I checked earlier. However, it still is sitting at an 87% fresh. The critic consensus on the main Rotten Tomatoes page reads a grim, gritty, and gripping super noir. The Batman ranks among the Dark Knight's bleakest and truly most thrilling, ambitious live-action outings. So let me hop on over here. Go on to the first article that had is this the Batman movie we've been waiting for 83 years? The Batman is the closest thing to a comic book accurate version of the character we've seen on the big screen thus far. That is David Gonzalez of Real Talk. Never has the Dark Knight been portrayed in such a thoughtfully authentic and exciting way. That's Josh Wilding from Comic Book Movie. The Batman is a unique commemoration of the Batman mythology and its stylistic and tonal shifts across its 80-year history. That is Jake Cole of Slate Magazine. Slant, not Slate. One of the best DC films of all time, The Batman, is a breath of fresh air, a masterpiece. Charisse Farouk of Cinema Debate. How does it compare specifically to other Batman movies? The Batman is immersed in dark undertones, not unlike Batman the Animated Series, from Charisse Farouk from Cinema Debate. Reeves presents the most robust version of Gotham we've seen since Tim Burton's 1989 Batman. That is from Peter DeBurge of Variety. Reeves has made the best Batman film since The Dark Knight, Ross Bonhame of Collider. If Dark Knight is Batman's Heat, The Batman is Batman's 7. Peter Canavese of Groucho Reviews. What about comic book movies in general? Not only is this a match for the strongest of those outings, it's also up there with the best comic book movies overall. It's that good. Ian Sandwell of Digital Spy. The Batman deserves every cinephile's attention and its discussion as it cements its place as one of the essential comic book movies of the last 20 years. David Gonzalez, Real Talk. Among the best of the genre, even if or more aptly because of what makes the film so great is its willingness to dismantle and interrogate every concept of superheroes. Peter DeBurge, Variety. Lots of praise here for Robert Pattinson's performance. Which villain stands out? Colin Farrell undoubtedly steals the show as Penguin, the best take on Oswald Cobblepot we've seen on screen. Josh Wilding, comic book movie. Kravitz is a standout with her 40s style femme fatale lilt, and her ability to embody slinky and smart in equal measures. Courtney Howard, Fresh Fiction. So, yeah. This is just nothing but praise.
I think they like it.
I think they like it. Now, I hopped over to Rotten Tomatoes proper. George Riviera Rubio of Quibo says the most artistic Batman movie ever made. Pattinson leaves his mark on the Bat legacy as a broken, in quotes, Bruce Wayne. But this is another case of a director's ambition getting in the way of his own work, demanding so much patience without actual payoff. 2.5 out of 5. Emily Wheeler of Movie Ops said the Batman is quite simply a ponderous bore. I am, however, seeing very, 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 very few reviews such as that. I'm trying to comb here for names we're familiar with. I know Chris Stuckman gave it a very high score. IGN gave it a 10 out of 10. And again, I am seeing a lot of really good reviews here, man. I'm really excited. When are you seeing it?
Probably Thursday. So,
hell yeah.
As soon as possible.
Hell yeah.
It sounds to me like, you remember when Joker came out and Todd Phillips used that really annoying verbiage of it's a real movie disguised as a comic book movie?
Yes, I remember the thing that pushed me over the edge for not giving a damn what Todd Phillips has to say.
I think to use that verbiage but not agree with it, I think this is a comic book movie disguised as a quote-unquote real movie. Does that make sense?
I see what you're going for. I think the interesting thing here is that
without having seen it, that's the impression I get. That people went in expecting dumb Batman shit and got a, not that, superhero movies are lesser movies. We're very staunch defenders of them, obviously. But the idea that there's a separation between quote unquote real film and comic book action movies, that break is getting thinner and thinner every year, thankfully.
I don't know. We still are getting every fucking director when they have a movie come out. I don't think comic book movies are real movies. They're theme parks. They're the same.
But
No Time to Die and Dune are the same movie or some
every movie's
nonsense.
the same movie. Every movie's the same movie. Every movie has the same story. Every story is the same. Humanity never changes. And when this rock ceases, none of it will have mattered. So let me enjoy my goddamn Batman, you old pieces of shit. That's where I'm at.
Sensational.
Damn, I'm clipping that. Here's what I will say. I think every Batman movie up to this point gets a little lost in the sauce with its director. I think Tim Burton Batman is Tim Burton Batman with the dramatic gothic architecture and the freakish character design. And Joel Schumacher Batman is this like neon camp acid trip. And then there's the Nolan trilogy and then Zack Snyder Batman. Like, it's so often defined by its director. Mm-hmm. And I think this is the first time where, like, having not seen any other Matt Reeves, like I haven't seen his Apes movies, I haven't, like cards on the table. I have not seen like any of the discourse around like, oh, this is so clearly a Matt Reeves movie. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think Matt Reeves is, at least in terms of like the greater cultural zeitgeist, a director or storytelling. You can go, see that right there? One of those. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that this is the first time we're getting to see a Batman movie that also does not have the baggage of its director. So
there
like
doesn't
this
have to be
is
any unnecessary slow-mo. There doesn't have to be some greater metaphor that's being shoved in your face the whole time.
The characters don't.
It doesn't have to be grounded in reality to the point of like it's kind of goofy. He dresses as a bat. I don't know what you mean about the Joel Schumacher. I don't know what you mean about the Joel Schumacher movies. They're perfect masterpieces of film. So,
I agree with you. I think it's bold of you to assume that when I say neon camp acid trip, I mean that in a derogatory sense.
Oh, I know you don't. I know very well you don't.
That's how you can describe how I dress most of the time. But anyway, I think there's a lot of that at play here as well. That like that I think that adds an element to this movie that Matt Reeves is more paying homage. It's almost, I'm gonna make a comparison. It's almost George Lucas-y in that like not so much having one's own style. Not to say that Matt Reeves or George Lucas don't have a style, because like again, as somebody, this is gonna be my first Matt Reeves joint, and eventually I'll go back and watch the Apes movies. But like George Lucas has a style. No jokes about like shitty dialogue or anything. Like he has a style. He has an editing style. He has a shot composition. It may not be incredibly varied. Everything might just be wide shots and close-ups, but like it looks like a fucking George Lucas movie when you look at it. Be it the prequels, the originals, graffiti, THX, it all feels like Lucas. But the reason it feels like Lucas is because it's this hodgepodge of other influences where you're like, oh, this is a Kurosawa movie, and this is a war documentary, and this feels like that, and this feels like this, and this feels like whatever. I'm kind of getting the same vibe with the Batman. That it's not like, oh, this feels like Matt Reeves, like, oh, this is like Seven, but in Gotham. This is like Zodiac, but it's Batman and the Riddler. there's less like, oh, I see what you're going for, and not it being drowned in a Christopher Nolan color palette or Zack Snyder hyperviolence. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that's also an important element here too. Dude, I am so goddamn excited for this movie.
Yeah. So I'm going to be honest. I was thinking about buying Elden Ring because it just came out like last week. Poor timing on its part.
Yeah.
You know, but given other events in the world that we don't cover because we're not a real news show, but I keep thinking about it, and I'm like, maybe I'll pick it up. We'll see. And then today I thought about it because today I said, okay, well, I get paid on Thursday. There's a single copy in the case at the store. If it's still there on Thursday, I'll pick it up. And then I thought about it, and I'm like, I'm seeing the Batman on Thursday. I know me. I'll want to play a Batman game when I come out of that movie. So maybe I'll wait till Friday and see how I feel on Friday.
I think you made the right call on that one. Speaking of the Batman and real world news, though, the Batman will not be released in Russia for obvious invasion reasons.
Do you hear that, Vlad? You don't get the Batman.
Did you see? We're going to dovetail a little bit. Did you see the video? I don't remember who it was. It was celebrity singing Imagine to We're back. Of the lady who put this video on Twitter, who was like basically saying, Vladimir, I'm sorry your mother didn't love you. And if I were your mother, I would have done this and I would have done that. And I would say to you now, blah, 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 blah. And there was one person who left the most poignant comment I read where they said, I can't believe this woman is talking to Vladimir Putin like he's a fucking Steven Universe villain. And I spat my drink out at work. Nothing but love and well wishes to the people of Ukraine. Every single person in that country right now every Ukrainian in that country right now is a bad motherfucker and is to be commended. War is terrible, but the bravery on display in Ukraine is awe-inspiring. With that, you want to bring it on home. Travis, where can the lovely people find you, good friend?
On Twitter and Instagram at Travis Political.
All right. Yeah.
What?
You guys can't find me. Oh, yes. New knowledge fight came out today. You guys can find me on Twitter. I am going to hear Dan and that is weird and getting weirder. I get to hear Dan and Jordan every day of the week because they drop a knowledge fight on Monday. They dropped a knowledge fight on Monday. Behind the Bastards, which we're guesting on this week, came out on Tuesday. They dropped a Sneaky Steak episode on Wednesday. Part 2 of Bastards comes out on Thursday. And then they upload an episode on Friday. I am having a great podcast week. But yeah, you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at DarkJedi2552. And you can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on our website, www.thenerdacademypodcast.com, where if you're feeling generous, you can donate to our Patreon.
Give me $1.
Speaking of our patrons, thank you to our $10 alumnus. The Waffle Wizard, Delta 9, Nick Johnson, and your friendly neighborhood otorungarologist. That middle part just gets away from me every time. All of our Book of Boba Fett coverage is finally come to an end. It's all packed up in a nice little playlist. If you ever want to go back and watch any of our reviews, including our episode we did with Star Wars Explained, which was a lot of fun. We love having Alex on the show. That's always a blast. Number one contender will be back in its official capacity very soon. We're probably not gonna be able to get a show done this week. We're gonna see what's up. So if not this week, next week we'll have a new episode out where we will cover the season opener, whatever Friday Night Titans will be happening this week, and then that week's Friday Night Titans. So stay tuned for all that. Keep your ear to the ground. Watch the channel. Watch the Schmodown. It's a great time to watch the Schmodown. I am so happy the Schmodown is back. And it looks fucking incredible. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. And like I said, next week, most likely we will be doing the Batman live stream review.
It's gonna be a big nut bust.
Versus series tournament will be happening soon, and then we'll get the actual versus series going. It's Bat Month, so Movie Club is covering the Dark Knight trilogy. Travis and I will be doing Batman Hush for Heroic History 101. It's Batman coming out your goddamn bat ears. So yeah, also while you're at the website, go ahead and click on the student store link where you can go check out our TeePublic.
Be sure, tpublic.com.
I don't know if it says you're muted.
You're probably frozen on it being me being muted for the Wildberries ad or clip.
No, you were still muted afterwards.
Okay, well, I will say again. Go get yourself some Bloody Mary mix. Donate to the Amidala Initiative. Get yourself some TNAP merch. So yeah, thank you all so very much for watching, and class dismissed.
Stop! Move away from the cookie jar.